For today's video, we are going to talk about report of birth. Who needs to report a birth at the Philippine consulate abroad? All Filipinos or former Filipinos, if you have a child born abroad, you must report the birth at the Philippine consulate where the birth took place. Just to give you an idea, I recently submitted or mailed out a report of birth for my son who is actually now 12 years old. I previously verified with the Philippine consulate in San Francisco because my son was born in Idaho. There's actually a territorial jurisdiction, and they said that they have no record of my son's birth. So I just recently submitted this report of birth and they mailed it back to me. So this is just a copy. And then when you mail it out, you should also include a prepaid postage of the priority mail. So here's an actual copy of the envelope, and then the form must be notarized, and the lower portion of the form you just need to leave it blank because they will notarize it at the Philippine consulate. So this is just a copy, and I'll show you later how to do this, including the cost. Who needs to submit a report of birth? As I previously mentioned, all Filipinos or former Filipinos who gave birth abroad or who has a child abroad needs to submit a report of birth. You have two options. You can either visit the Philippine consulate where the birth took place, or you can mail out the documents. Please take note that you must submit or bring all documents and also the form report of birth. What will happen if you fail to submit a report of birth? There is no penalty if you fail to submit a report of birth. However, there is no record of the child's birth. If you wanted a recognition of your son or daughter's Philippine citizenship. Although your child is automatically a dual citizen, you cannot obtain a Philippine passport because there's no record of birth or report of birth. It also costs more in terms of postage and notary if you keep on delaying submitting the report of birth for your child. So I would advise to submit it as soon as your child is born. Here is the procedure for sending the report of birth at the Philippine consulate. In order to register the birth, it should be reported to the Philippine Embassy or Consulate having jurisdiction where the event took place. Now, once you get that information, check the Philippine Consulate. For example, my son was born in Idaho, so the Philippine Consulate in San Francisco covers the territorial jurisdiction of Idaho, and then you have to go to the civil registry. What are the documents that you needed to submit? If you are going to mail out the report of birth, you must have the priority mail envelopes from the USPS. I actually have the priority mail express, so I wanted it faster, but it's your option. So just prepare 2 priority mail envelopes and you can get this for free from the post office. For the first envelope, submit it to the Philippine consulate where the birth took place. So all the documents must be included in the first envelope. The second envelope should contain your address because it will be sent back to you once they have processed it. Here is a copy of the Walmart money order in the amount of $25. There's a $1 fee to get the money order. Now this is the cover letter. I'll show you later on in this video. Now here are the original documents that I sent, and they returned it back to me in the return envelope. This is a copy of the report of birth after notarization. If you're going to submit a report of birth more than 12 months from birth of your child, you must submit an affidavit of delayed registration. Here are the documents that you needed to submit or mail out. First, you will need a cover letter. Second, you must have 4 original copies of the duly accomplished report of birth, and you must indicate all the information that is needed. For the mother, you should indicate your maiden name or your birth name or your name before marriage. For the signature of the informant, if submitting in person, you must sworn to and signed by the informant before a consular officer. If submitting by mail, you must have it notarized. Other documents: 1 original and 3 photocopies of affidavit of delayed registration. If the report will be submitted more than 12 months from birth. So here is a copy, and you should indicate the reasons for the delayed registration of birth, and it must also be notarized. You must also submit 4 photocopies of the child's U.S. birth certificate and 4 photocopies of the marriage certificate. In addition, you must also submit 4 photocopies of the valid passport of both parents, together with any of the following. If the Filipino parent is still a Filipino, you must submit a copy of the Philippine passport or permanent resident card. If you have dual citizenship, you must also submit it, and if you were naturalized, you must also submit the naturalization certificate. Also, an identification or ID of the child. There are other details in here if the parents are not married. The fee is $25, and also you must submit a self-addressed stamped return envelope and submit it or mail it out to the Philippine consulate. What are the costs involved in submitting the report of birth? For the notary, it costs $15 from the UPS, and then $7.50 per succeeding page. So I sent the application form, it's $15, and then the affidavit of delayed registration would be considered succeeding pages. So I was charged like $45 for everything. For the money order, it's $25 for the consulate fee and $1 to get the money order from Walmart. For postage and return envelope with prepaid postage, my estimates are $26 and below for each envelope if you use the Priority Mail. But I used the Priority Mail Express, which is higher, so it cost me around $33.55 each envelope, and I paid a total of $67.10 for both. If you have any other questions or comments, please post them down below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Again, thank you guys for watching, and if you haven't liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. I always welcome new subscribers. Thank you guys for watching. I hope everyone is staying safe and have a great day.